Hello, I'm Shantigarbha and this is NVC Life Hacks. This time, how not to listen. So we've all had the experience of really wanting to be heard by a friend or by our partner, and the other person just doesn't get it. So what makes the difference between that sense that we've been heard and understood and that dispiriting feeling that we're really just wasting our breath? So here are my 5 top tips how not to listen. Number 1, advice. We all like to give advice. In fact, we love giving advice. So just imagine your partner or your wife is struggling to fill in her tax return or their tax return. So, well, we might say things like, oh, why didn't you start earlier? Or I suggest you just phone them up rather than all these letters backwards and forwards. And you can imagine the kind of impact. They just look like, Number 2, data gathering. So this is when we want more information. We need more information to really understand what's going on. So we ask questions like, well, when was the last time you wrote to them? Or what did they say in their last letter? Or, and so on, and so on, and so on. Or what was the name of the person you were talking to at the tax office, and so on. Yeah? So these just distract the attention away from what the person really wants to say. Number 3, sympathy. So this is when we really get into the feelings and try to feel what the other person is feeling. So, oh, that must be terrible. I know just how that feels. It must be awful when they send you letters and they tell you that your tax return is late. That must feel awful for you. So this is where we just trying to make a connection, get a connection on the basis of feelings, and we're not really understanding what's going on underneath. Number 4, storytelling. So this is when we get into a parallel story that's happened in our own lives, and we tell that to the other person as a way of trying to comfort them, something. So it goes something like this. Oh, that reminds me of the time when I put my tax return in late, and then they sent me all these letters and they kept on pursuing me for months and months, and eventually I had to get my tax accountant to try and get them off my back, and eventually all blah 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 blah. Okay, so this is when we just distract ourselves by telling a story that isn't really relevant to the person, and it might just distract them from their own story and what they want to tell us. And number 5, cheer up, or don't be glum. So this is when we really don't want the other person to be upset, because it's rather upsetting for us when the person close to us is upset. So we try to cheer them up. And it sounds something like this. Cheer up, never mind, worse things happened at sea. You'll get over it. Tomorrow's another day. And so on. Yeah? And you can just imagine it's like, oh. So it doesn't often have the effect of cheering the other person up. It's more like, oh, no, they don't get it. They don't understand me. They never did understand me. Oh. So this is cheer up, or don't be glum. So that's it for this time. If you'd like to know more, you can like our Facebook page, you can sign up for our newsletter on the website, and of course, you're welcome to join us on one of our training events.